George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Amir Gethers is one of six people vying for two counselor at large seats in the city of Syracuse. Amir, tell us about your background and why you think you should be the one.
Well, thanks for having me, George. I am born and raised here in the city of Syracuse, graduated from Corcoran High School, then went on to Hudson College in Albany, New York, where I got my degree in mortuary science.
Mm-hmm.
My family, we have been well known since the early uh, 80s, I would say early 80s, late 70s, for providing a funeral service to the community in the city of Syracuse. That being my grandmother. So, followed in her footsteps, and I obtained my degree in mortuary science, and I, got to serve the community in that parameter of work when it comes to dealing with people and their emotions and death. So with that, I gained a great characteristic where I'm able to make people feel comfortable and to make people to feel, confident and stronger within themselves and their in bridging their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the opportunity to meet a lot of family members in the city of Syracuse throughout the whole entire city, even from New York City, Buffalo, Puerto Rico, but keeping it here specifically in Syracuse. I've served a multitude of people in the city, and I would like to take that to a new level by serving as their common counselor at large, where I can represent the whole entire city, so we can have better lifestyles and more sustainable lifestyles here in the city of Syracuse.
All right. So what do you want to work on as a counselor at large? What are your big concerns for the community?
Well, my biggest concerns in the community, definitely, of course, having accountability. We see where things have fall off the rock, I would say, in Washington, D.C., with other elected officials, where we don't hold each other accountable. I want the city to hold me accountable while I hold the city residents accountable so that we can move forward to get things done. If you need something done, I answer my phone call. I say, I'm going to do it. You're expecting me to do it. I need you to charge me to say, hey, I need this done. Okay. And then I'll come to you and I say, hey, I need this done. We can keep the ball going. You know what I mean? Another thing is with having a small business in our family. I remember when I was a kid, I remember seeing a lot of small businesses here in the city of Syracuse, small mom and pop shops. It gained employment. You got to know the neighborhood. It benefited the neighborhood, and there was a lot of attraction that we had to come here to the city of Syracuse because these shops and these businesses offered, something different that many other places didn't have. So people would, come to Syracuse because of these things, and it helped the community and the neighborhoods look a lot better. As time gone on, we see that those businesses have been left and they never returned back, or they had to close down because, certain circumstances. So I would like to see that come back. And what that does is it helps bring revenue back to the city of Syracuse without putting too much charge onto the residents and people that, that live here and they want to start a life here. Um, as for the big businesses, they get, bigger tax breaks and things like that, which really don't benefit the city. We don't receive any revenue from it. Sometimes we, almost came close to being bankrupt because of a few decisions that were made, and I'm not used to seeing Syracuse be that vibrant city that we always used to, talk about it being. Another thing is going to be with safety and security. Neighborhoods. Not putting on the police department, but for the neighborhoods, for our own safety and security. I don't really see the neighborhoods being neighborhoods anymore. Where the neighbor will look out. I remember when we would go out of town, and the neighbor across the street would collect the mail for us. Would let our dog out, possibly turn the lights on in our house, just to make sure that everything is safe, so we can, refrain from being burglarized or anything like that. There has been a lot of burglaries going on. There's been a lot of gun violence. Period. There's no trust when it comes to safety and security. And I feel bad for some of the elder people that we have that live in the city of Syracuse because as we know recently we had an elderly person get killed, which is very unfortunate. That shouldn't happen. Nobody's life should be lost here in the city of Syracuse. It's such a close knit city that everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? And it's sad that we don't have a great safety and security confidence within ourselves. Then we go over to the police side. The police officers, they have a tough job. They are not trusted in our community. And, due to circumstances that happen in other cities, it then comes into the city of Syracuse,
Mm-hmm.
where there's no gain of trust at all with the police department. So people would rather handle situations themselves rather than calling the police, which is their job, which is what we pay them to do, to protect and to serve the communities here in the city of Syracuse. It doesn't happen. So what we need to do is we need to regain structure. We need to regain that bridging gap between the police department, safety, security in our neighborhoods, so that way everyone can feel protected while they live here in the city of Syracuse.
Amir, so when you talk about police community relations, obviously you talked about what happened, maybe you referring to George Floyd and the protests
Mhm.
around, but it's also about the police community relations here. There is a Syracuse Police Reform Commission that's asking for reform from the city related to police community relations. What are your thoughts
Yes.
about that and what the council can do in that regard?
Well, I strongly think that the true reform needs to happen within the city of Syracuse Police Department. We need to, I feel like we can create so many laws, have so many, ordinances and things out there. But if that mentality, if that culture within the police department is not being attacked appropriately, then nothing's going to get done. So I feel like some things with the police reform will be great. It'll be very beneficial. I also think that the money that is left over from the budget, or money that's not even spent from their budget, should be allocated to different programs to build that relationship. Either with kids, with families. We can take that and we can develop a lot of things that can help to bridge the community gap between the police department and the city of Syracuse. I think that the reform board has came with some pretty reasonable things that they want to be done. I know some of them can't be met, at a timely manner that they want it to be met. But I think that if we work hard with the council works hard with the community, because that's what we're here for. With our constituent services, we work hard with the community and try to get and come to an equal basis where we can actually meet the requirements and the goals that the community wants for the police department. And we also need the police department to come. There needs to be a middle ground, and the council, I feel, can be that strong person to help pull them both together to say, hey, this is where we're going to meet. This is what we're expecting. This is what we need you to do.
What do you think is needed from the council's perspective to improve the economic development or economic impact in the community, especially in communities of color in this community? I mean, you're running for the whole city, but obviously,
Yes.
what
Yes.
what some of our more marginalized communities where there's a high poverty rate, youth are looking for opportunities, et cetera. What are your thoughts about the role that the council can play in helping to mitigate some of that?
Well, I can say that we can look forward with developing once more and again, and we always talk about programs, but the city can actually have their own programs where they can have their own teeth. Where if you look at in those most impoverished neighborhoods that we have here in the city, what do you see outside? You see trash, you see uncut grass, you see a lot of things that do not help that community look any better, and they don't feel better. You know what I mean? Just like when you're putting your clothes on, when you put your suit on, when you put a shirt on, you feel clean about it. You feel good about it. How could we help change, the lifestyle, the mentality of the kids to move forward and to do better if they're going home to something that doesn't look good at all every day? So I say that to say we can have jobs. We can give them jobs, or we can, give them some type of incentive where, okay, if you do clean up the trash. If you do this, we can help you with school. We can help you with books. We can help take you on college tours, and a lot of things, the primary focus for a lot of kids now is money, so they want jobs. So we can rally them up and say, okay, you group, get them in the van, you group, go over here, we clean this up, we'll clean this up, and give them some money for it. It's not hard. And they'll look forward to, we'll start developing, the cleanliness of the neighborhood aspect in these kids so that way they can value where they stay at. But I think it's very hard for the youth to value where they stay at it if it doesn't look apart.
Obviously, economic development is a big issue in our community.
Mhm.
And, you know, trying to attract jobs to the community. How would
Mhm.
you work with the mayor to do that?
Well, what we would do,
Whoever
or
the
what I
mayor
would do,
is, right?
right, right. what, what I would do with the mayor is I would really look at um, him, her, whoever it may be. We'll just put it that way, and say, what is it that Syracuse, what is it that the residents want? Where do we go to spend our money? Instead of going out, you know what I mean? Like we used to take trips to Waterloo all the time, or there's another mall down in New York City. I think it's Queensbury or something like that. Why can't we do that here? You know what I mean? We have a lot of stores that come to Syracuse that we really don't benefit from at all because we either can't afford it, we don't shop there, or it's just nothing that we really like, nothing that attracts us. But everybody else that comes from other cities and other counties come to our city of Syracuse, which is a great attraction for us. But it serves no value to us because we don't replenish our money there. So I would tell the mayor and say, hey, look, can we get businesses here? Let's do a poll. Let's say, what would you want for this neighborhood? What would it's there's things that we can do to help with the economic growth and values of our community by bringing businesses and developments here that the community actually wants. Let's go to the community first and say, okay, do you think that this is going to be great, or do you think it's not going to be great? And then what we do on the back end is we'll tell them, financially, this is how it'll be good, and this is how it'll be bad. You know what I mean? It is just simple educational things that we can do, and help broadening the education behind the decisions that the council and the mayor makes. I think it'll help, create a strong, confidential bond between the local government and the residents.
All right, Amir Gethers, you're looking for people to do what for you?
So I'm going to say this, and there's 2 seats that are available for the Common Council at Large position. You're going to vote June 22nd as a primary. And for everyone else that has to wait until November 2nd, you'll see my name at the top of the ballot, Amir Gethers, the one and only. I'm asking for your vote so I can represent you entirely as a city and hold me accountable.
All right, Amir Gethers, good luck to you. Inspiration for the
Appreciate
nation.
it. Absolutely.